Breck.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we have our guest, Marlow Digs, aka MPC Head. Sir, introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Marlow Digs. I'm a beat maker from Portugal. That's it. Is that enough?
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, just tell everybody how you got into making music.
Yeah, making music. Well, early age, I would say like around 14, I got into just being in a band with friends, playing the guitar, and that's kind of how it started. Just because we used to do a lot of rock back in the days, like we just grunge music, whatever it was. That's how I started. Eventually, I moved up to hip hop, but I started just playing the guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into like making the music you do, using an MPC, standalones? Like, what inspired you to take that path in music?
Mm, it was again, I think like in the 90s there was like this crossover between hip hop and rock. So it's super natural for us to be in both worlds at the same time. So as I started with guitars, then I moved up into hip hop. It was just a natural thing for us to do. And one of my friends actually had an MPC at home. His name is Kilu. So he's like a really good producer, and he's a name here in Portugal as well. And yeah, he had an MPC at home, and I spotted it. He teach me how to just sample and how to chop a sample, and I kind of just fell in love with it right there, and I actually bought one like a week or 2 weeks after that.
Yeah,
So it was just natural to get into hip hop.
yeah. I'm a huge fan of the MPC as well. I have the MPC Live too, and I remember growing up, I would watch, not, of course, recently I would see some of your videos, and I would definitely grab some inspiration from the techniques and the way that you sample some of this stuff. So kudos to you. What made you want to pursue like content creation? Obviously you enjoyed the music, and now you're on YouTube, doing
Yeah.
different things with the MPC. What made you take that route? Was it mostly like monetization and stuff like that?
Mm, I don't know, man. I don't think it was thinking about that. I knew that I had that possibility, but it's funny enough because I before I had an English channel, I had a Portuguese channel up, and just nothing really happened. I had very little followers. I had the channel up for like not even a year, and it just wasn't growing, and I kind of I shut the channel down. I thought nothing of it, and one time I was watching videos on YouTube about NPCs and stuff, and there was this guy who was talking about the NPC, but the whole idea that he was putting out to the public was wrong. And I kind of like decided instead of just writing a comment to make a video, and that's how actually the channel came up. I opened up a channel called MPC Heads and just put a video on there to kind of it wasn't the direct response or reply to the guy. It was just me making a video, a tutorial,
Yeah.
and then people started following, and it was like that. So, and the monetization came afterwards, but it was really just me trying to reply to another video. That
Yeah.
was it.
So what's the music climate like in Portugal? What's hot? What's going on over there?
I think it's the same as everywhere. Trap music is really big now. Everywhere, you still have that niche of people that doing boom bap, lo-fi, which is kind of growing as well. You have like big communities now because it kind of died down a little bit.
Yeah.
And after the trap boom, I think probably everyone knows like lo-fi started to pick up,
Yeah.
and it's the same here, man. We follow the trends. I think all around the world, everyone has the same trend. So trap is big as well, but lo-fi is kind of there. And I never really left. But it's funny because the boom bap in Portugal, it's still relevant. It
Yeah.
didn't really go away that much. Trap is bigger, obviously, but you still have like the classic people that did the boom bap in the 90s, in 2000s, still there and still putting albums out. So it's still pretty much alive.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Obviously, over in the U.S., trap is huge, and and boom bap is definitely going down. And I feel like in other countries, boom bap is still more relevant from like cats like 20 Sil and stuff like that who are still making gains and streams and boom bap and stuff like that. But so what are your thoughts on trap? Like I mean, doing the music you are, like, what are your thoughts on trap?
I think it's music. I'm not a trap listener.
Yeah.
My thing is always it has always been jazz and hip hop. So that's really where I am. It's just music. I think it sounds good. There's some trap that I don't like. There's other trap that sounds good, but yeah, it's not something that I listen to that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not really my vibe, man. But it's just I've never been a fan of the quick hi-hat type of thing.
Yeah.
I used to play with that when I was starting up because you had the note repeat.
Yeah.
Like it was something fun that we did, but I was never really a huge fan. But I just love boom bap.
Yeah. So what other artists or songwriters do you draw inspiration from?
Nowadays I kind of listen to everything and everyone, from the big names down to the people that are on Instagram. So I literally listen to everything, and I just follow suggestions and stuff like that. So I don't really have names. Like I follow someone.
Yeah.
Like you would do, like in the 90s, you would do that. You would have this big name, it was Cypress Hill or Gangstar or Jazz. But I don't have that anymore. I think my inspiration really comes from literally everyone I listen to. Just the regular artists that you would listen to on Instagram. There are some really, really good guys that put out some amazing, amazing music. So I don't really have like names, but at the same time, I think my inspiration comes from just, digging, just finding samples and listening to new music every day. And just, I think that's really the big part of my music listening, is listening to records or listening to music on YouTube or whatever it is, to find samples. So the inspiration comes from finding that really, really good sound that you want to then layer with some drums. I think that's probably it.
Yeah. So what's your method? Like when you're obviously digging for samples, you listen to the whole record. Do you record usually the whole record and find different parts to chop from? Like what's your method? How do you find the samples or portions that you want to chop up?
Well, the samples are mostly at the beginning of the song, so always listen for the beginning. But it really depends, man. If I just really want to find a sample, I'll just skip and try to pick the record until I find it. If not, I'll listen to the whole thing. But I said this before, like I actually go on a whole day or 2 days just digging for stuff and not actually making a beat. I just listen to several records or YouTube or whatever. I dig from any source. It doesn't really matter. And I just go like on a bench and just chop as much as I can. So then I can just be on the MPC and just go through the folders and find chops that I made. So yeah, I'll listen to entire records as well. Because a lot of the stuff that I buy, it's jazz. Well, most of it. And I like listening to jazz. So I put the record on and, well, sometimes I listen to it all, sometimes just skip it.
Yeah. So you see, like my process is because like I'm so impatient, and I'm trying to learn how to be more patient with some of these samples because like I chopped a portion of the record, I didn't really get to listen to the whole thing, and then once I did, I'm like, dang, this part of it sounded 10 times better. But so who is your
Yeah, there's something as well. Sorry to interrupt you there. Like,
oh, you good?
Sometimes, because these new MPCs, they're so easy to chop. Like it's not. Like you have the record playing or whatever you have playing, and you can just quickly tap on the pads to get the chops, and you just try it out, see if it fits. So everything's just so super quick nowadays that you can just easily be jumping between the start and the end and try things really, really quickly on the go and see if any of the sample pops out and works with the drums or not. And if not, you just skip to the next portion of the record, because everything's super quick on the MPC.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So you make a good portion of your music on the MPC. When it comes to mixing, do you do all your mixing within the standalone, or do you use a software?
I quit doing stuff on the software because I just, it was like I was mixing it. When I'm making a beat, I'm mixing already.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to export everything to a DAW. Because then you can have it mixed professionally. I don't know, but I always I didn't get it, because if I'm making a beat and I'm mixing everything, why do I need to export it out to then be mixed again? And most of the times it would end up just because you would go into that habit of trying to clean the audio too much, and you would EQ certain bits of the sample that were the actual thing that were giving the flavor to the music. Are you trying to take out the noise, or take out maybe the low end, or take out some of the bits of the frequencies of the sample? When you're trying to EQ too much, you're just doing too much sometimes.
Yeah.
And I found that sometimes when I would export beats to the DAW, it would just become like a complete different beat, and the flavor would just be ruined, like the way it was on the MPC. So I just stopped doing it. And now I do everything on the MPC, and then just track it out, stereo, master it, and
yeah,
it's just quicker. I'm a bit lazy as well. I keep saying that I'm a bit lazy. The thing good about the DAWs is that you can then arrange it in a linear way.
Yeah.
Right. Because the MPC it's a bit you can't do it that easily. But apart from that, I don't use DAWs at all.
Yeah. I think the what's really important from just using a DAW is when you're trying to compose a music. I found that I was definitely able to make the beat and mix inside the MPC. Yeah, I wish there were obviously more plugins, but really, you really do have everything in the MPC as far as like Akai plugins and even the new Air plugins that they added. It was I definitely overlooked it for a while, but I'm like, shoot, I was able to get like full good sounding tracks just out of this MPC. So your branding is super appealing, especially on like YouTube and stuff like that, your thumbnails, your editing, everything like that. So what equipment, for those who are wondering, what equipment do you use and what editing software do you use as well?
I actually have it right here. This is my trusted camera, and I have it for about 8 years. I don't know how long I have it. It's great to invest, guys. This is a tip. Just invest your money. Because at the time, I've always been a fan of filming for some reason. And this is what I use. And it's a 70D, Canon 70D. And I have a few lenses that I use as well. Cheap, around 100, 150. I have one that's a bit more expensive. I actually have a video on this on YouTube if you guys want to check it out. But I have this, and then I edit everything in Final Cut. So everything is super simple. There's nothing major about this. I think it's just the way I get the framing sometimes. It's or I try to use the lights to create some dramatic footage or stuff like that. I'm not that deep into cinematography, but I like to film, and that's what I use. So pretty old camera. I actually need to get on a new one. I'm looking at cameras now, and I was thinking about the Blackmagic. I don't know. It's not really my field, just
the two definitely come together. I mean, you said you like filming, and just like the way that you film, like going up against your beats, just a perfect combination, especially when you're doing like just the beat videos on the go and stuff like that. Super appealing. I definitely enjoyed it myself. So do you have any advice for producers trying to monetize or be a full-time producer?
I mean, I think it's down to putting a lot of work out there, to always be working and to always be pushing yourself to put work out there. I don't think I do anything extra besides just doing a lot, just you always have to, you need to have good music, I suppose, for people to gravitate towards you. But it's a question as well of because there are so many of us, right? And for you to kind of stay relevant, if you want to monetize, you have to be putting work all the time. I try to, something that I'm not doing as much now, but I'm trying to put 2 videos out per week. Sometimes I can't do it. Sometimes I do it. Like, that's something I do, is try to stay consistent at that. Just always uploading stuff. I don't use Instagram as much, but I try to put stuff there. But it's just putting work out there. I think that's the key. Just making a lot of music and putting it out, and I think it's just uploading constantly.
Yeah. So do you
actually? I don't do anything extra besides doing that. I don't know.
Yeah. So do you actually do all of this full time? Do you have another job that you do on the side, or were you able to establish?
No. I'm doing this full time right now. So yeah, well, I have more times on my hands, so that's why I can make 2 videos. I do a lot of sound designing, creating sample packs for Patreon and stuff like that. So I keep busy trying to make all this, but I'm doing this. Yeah, this is what I do. I'll stay here all day and make samples, make videos and stuff like that. Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing to do outside of working on music?
Outside of working on music, I'm a pretty chill guy. Probably the best thing that I like to do is just, you can't do it right now, but it's just stay with my friends in the pub and just talk.
Yeah.
And just relax. Just be with your friends and talk. Like, that's probably the best thing. Aside from that, I skated. I don't do it as much now, but I try to. I actually need to go get a new pair of sneakers if I go skate again. And yeah, but that's what I do. Sometimes with my brother, we might go and play some basketball, and he loves basketball, so we do that. But that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to obviously take a break from music and obviously do the things that make you happy outside of music too. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I have to say that I spend a lot of time in nature as well with my girl. That's one of my favorite things. Just get away from the city, go to the hills, chill. And yeah, it's probably like every week.
Yeah.
Well, with the COVID, it's kind of hard to maintain now.
Yeah. How's COVID-19 affecting everything? Is everything starting to lift up and stuff like that?
Well, it lifts up and it goes back down again, isn't it? Like, everything opens up, then everything shuts down again because the numbers get higher and higher. It's just, I don't know. Everyone's trying to get the vaccine, so hopefully we'll be able to get out soon and just have whatever normal life could have. It's kind of crazy. I don't know, but it doesn't really affect me that much because, again, I'm in the studio all day, and I was prior to COVID as well. So my life didn't change as much as going to the pub and being with my friends. That stopped, but that was it.
Yeah.
Happily, but it didn't really affect me. It affected a lot of people.
So, yeah. Same here. I mean, everything's starting to lift up, and where I live right now, we're starting to be able, if you're vaccinated, you can go inside of stores and stuff like that. But once COVID hit, I'm in the military, so I did not stop working. I mean, I worked less, but everybody was at home, but I was like continuously working and stuff like that. So it really didn't affect me either. But what is your favorite to date? Is your favorite musical project you worked on?
The music that my projects.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know. I have this one. It's just for the fun. The way that I put it together is that I actually I chose a film from like I think it's 60s or 50s. I think it's 50s, and I chopped the main parts of the voices of the story of the narration, and then I created this story with my beat. So we would have the intro of the video, and then I had the beat, and I had the middle of the story, then the beat. So I kind of created this storyline with my instrumentals, and it's something that I enjoy a lot, is to create not just have the beat, but have something in the back. I'm super fan of the outros, the intros, the stuff in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of that. Kind of tells the story beyond the beat. It kind of lets you get closer to what the producer is feeling or wants to show as well. So there's always a sound design work behind the beats that I like to do. Probably that's the most interesting thing. It just came out. It came out last year. I now put it on Spotify and all the platforms, which is Indiscreet. Trying to see if I'm going to put that on a record. But that's an interesting one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
My dad actually told me about, because he's a big fan of your videos and stuff like that. Because he actually makes most of his music in the MPC as well. And he was showing me. I think there was one video where you were kind of just like, there was the beat and then there was like the story or something like that, which very unique content. Do you see yourself collaborating with any artists in the near future?
I'll be honest with you. I'm very much a loner. Like I like to be on my own, just and make music. But I've always wanted to work with the female artist. I'm big into female voices. I've always, if you listen to my beats, you'll hear it like 60-70% of the time. You'll hear a chop from a girl vocals in there. So yeah, I would collaborate with a female. I would love to have like a jazz singer with my beats, more than have an MC, to be honest. I'm cool with, and I used to rhyme as well, but I'm cool with MCing. But that's one of the things that I always wanted to do, was just get like this really nice jazz voice and drop it on top of my beats, make an album with that. That's something that I would love to do. Yeah, why not?
Okay, so yeah, y'all heard it first. If you were a female artist.
Exactly.
So what's your favorite MPC to use and why?
It's the X, man, all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know the old MPCs get a lot of love, and they're great, but it's just the ease of use, man, that you get from these MPCs it's phenomenal. I know I got this XL about a year ago or something, and I was loving it, but you get to a place, you get to a moment in them that you just want to resample the sound, and you can't resample. There's no high pass. There's this and that, and I know limitations. It's a great way of putting it, that the limitations improve your creativity.
Yeah. You
can always limit yourself as well in the new ones if you want. Like, you can create your workflow and stick to it. But yeah, I'll say, like, it's the newer MPCs, really, because of the workflow, because they're so easy to cut audio, and I cut audio all the time, so it really helps me with my work, because I'm creating samples all the time, so I want to be able to chop stuff super quick and just get it done with it. Something that I would never be able to do with the old MPCs, which I still have a lot of love for, but if you put me in the middle of the desert, I would go with probably the 5, because it has some battery left, That's it.
Yeah. Do you recommend people who have the MPC Live to upgrade to maybe the MPC XL?
Well, I always say that you should to the XL.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, it's really, yeah. I would say you should try it. At least try it out, just to see how it feels, how you like it. Why not? Like, but if you're starting, I think you should jump on one of the new MPCs. I've said this in the past, like, just so you are aware of the tools that are available to you, just so you know what the possibilities are. Like, you want to know what you can create, and then you can limit yourself. Go to these old MPCs, the XL. They're really fun to do, but then you know, like, okay, this is how these guys did it. This is what I have to do. So yeah, why not, man? Jump on it. Why not, man?
Yeah.
Experience the old MPCs. I still want to experience the 3000. I've never used one.
Yeah.
So
expensive though. Insanely expensive.
Yeah, even the XL now I've seen it, like, with all the upgrades going up above 1000 and something.
Yeah.
It's just.
All right. So before we go, do you have any final closing statements for aspiring producers or content creators such as yourself?
yes, invest in yourselves, wherever, if it is a camera or a new sample, just invest in yourselves and put a lot of time and effort into it, and then put the beat out, release your music, and that's it. Just it takes a lot of time to get to where you want to go, but if you put the work in, you'll eventually get there. It's just a matter of putting stuff out, and that's it.
I agree. All right, Marlow. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Dope
Thanks.
interview.
Of course, man. Thank you so much for having me too.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
You too, brother.